What's better than fantasy football? Kyle Fridland, Jake Fridland.
Ain't nothing better than football.
Two brothers talking about the nitty and gritty of the best sport in the world. Welcome to the Fantasy Simpletons Show!
What
2026 might just be on the horizon, but before we look into the future, we gotta dip our toes into the past one last time. Let's reminisce about the fantasy football season we had, and let's go over some of our personal favorite fantasy football players of this last season. The way we do this is that there are 10 total players. There's 5 from me, 5 from my brother Jake, and we're just going to talk about our favorite players, why we enjoyed watching them this season, and maybe for some of them a little bit of preview of what they could be next season.
Yeah, I like it, brother Kyle. Let's get into it, man.
Let's get into it. But first, we have some breaking news that we need to get to very first. We're going to cover this very quickly before we go into this because I just saw this recently. Mike Tomlin is stepping down as Pittsburgh Steelers head coach.
Dude,
I thought
is news to me, bro. I did not see this. What?
It must have been after the game that played last night by the time we record this, but it seems to be more of a mutual step down, as this was a decision that both the owner and Mike Tomlin came to an agreement.
Jeez.
Big news for a coach, one of the longest tenured head coaches, maybe now the longest tenured up to that point. 19 years with the Steelers, now gone.
Wow. That's huge news, actually.
Absolutely massive. And this is coming off the back of John Harbaugh also being sort of fired, released from the Baltimore Ravens. So now we have two massive head coaching candidates, two that you would probably expect will get head coaching jobs somewhere else.
Yeah.
But it looks like a new era for the AFC North.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, those are some big guys. Guys that, have had huge records over the years in terms of consistently getting their teams to over 500. So, that's why they were with their teams for so long. Yeah, this is big news.
Yeah. Mike Tomlin famously never having a losing record in any of his seasons. He's going to be a highly... Now, all those teams that change their, positions of like, oh, John Harbaugh is now the guy to get. Now, all of a sudden, you now throw Mike Tomlin in. It's like,
is he?
You got to restart the boards again.
Exactly. And, Pete Carroll could still be out there. Who knows if he's actually going for a
Pete,
full-time gig or not?
I think he's got to look into retirement. I think it's around that time. He's 77, man. Enjoy the kids.
Yeah.
Enjoy the grandkids.
Yeah, right. Life is short.
And then in any other news, apparently Jordan Addison got arrested at like a casino or something. Good for him. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Always fun to hear about an arresting.
Yeah.
It's good to know that he's got plans for 2026.
Right. Hopefully they're, actually on the field and not in a prison cell, but
dude,
we'll
absolutely. But now back to your regularly scheduled programming. We will go into our top 10. Jake, how about this? You actually beat me to the punch on this one. First player here, Drake Maye. Drake Maye.
Yeah. I mean, it's Drake Maye, bro.
It is Drake Maye, bro.
We kind of covered this, right? Some of these guys we covered in our last show where we gave out fantasy awards. And Drake Maye won
He won a couple of them.
Least?
He won Draft Steal of the Year. I'd have to go back and think about the other award that he won in the moment because we did a lot of those awards. But
we did.
Drake Maye, I mean, what can we say that hasn't been said? He's a near contender for MVP this season.
Mm.
He's likely going to take his team pretty far. I think they're at least going to go to the AFC Championship game. They're set up for success, and I think we're going to
Yeah.
expect to see him here for the foreseeable future, always in the sort of
Oh yeah.
top 10, top 5 of quarterbacks for here on.
Yeah. He's a baller. I think when you make it, on a team that has struggled in the past, right? They obviously got Drake May last year when he was a rookie, hoping that he would kind of help turn things around. And this year is a clear telltale sign that he did that.
Yeah.
Um, and the team just looks really good, not only offensively but defensively. So everything's just kind of coming together. And fantasy wise, yeah, Drake May's just been this year, one of the best fantasy QBs, top 5. I'm pretty sure.
At a massive bargain rate, too.
Yeah. So, he's definitely one to watch. I think he's comparable to Bo Nix, even in my opinion, slightly better than Bo Nix, moving forward. But they're two like younger sophomore QBs going into their, you know, junior season, third year. And they're just gonna keep making moves. I think Drake May is just gonna keep getting better, especially as this team gets, better weapons. Maybe I think that their wide receiver game could improve a little bit, and that would help him out. So yeah, just a very exciting time, and I love Drake May. I think everyone that had him this year in fantasy couldn't say more. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could say so much more about him.
But
So
that's the coolest part about it is that we can really see him. There's a shot he could get better. You're right. The offense itself, he didn't have a huge amount of pieces around him outside of Stephon Diggs. Just a lot of like depth pieces at receiver.
yeah.
The offense struggled at times, but he still managed a near MVP season. Well, what if you continue into next season and get more weapons and get even more stacked up with
Mhm.
him? He gets another year in the Vrabel system. It could get even better. Obviously, his draft stock is going to completely change. No chance you're getting him in the late rounds as a possible backup, but
Yeah.
it's cool to see in this position that we have a guy that's going to be very safe going into next season.
Yeah, 100%. It's fun, it's exciting. And it makes the rest of the team more exciting too,
Yeah.
Like maybe people will start going after the wide receivers on this team. Now, Stephon Diggs, if he stays there, is going to look really exciting and so on. So,
If you played the late QB game in your draft, if you went to draft all your other positions and you're like, oh, I'm going to get my QB late, this was a good season for you because not only could you have gotten Drake May, could have also gotten Mr. Dak Prescott. This is my guy.
mhm,
I was super hyped about him coming into the offseason. I just thought from where he was being drafted to what value he could actually produce,
yeah.
everything seemed like it was going to work in his favor. That horrible defense, the bringing in
Mhm,
of George Pickens. And lo and behold, he had a top 5 QB season. He was awesome this year. It looked not too far off from his MVP campaign of a couple of
yeah.
years ago. And with Javonte Williams actually adding some juice into that run game, this
Mhm,
was a perfect storm of an offense that just needed to score points all the frickin' time, and it worked.
yeah. And I mean, I don't think anyone could say they're really surprised that Dak Prescott did this well this season. Um, because when you have a top tier wide receiver on your team, like CD Lamb, it almost makes it easy for you, as a quarterback to get those points. But it's the fact that you mentioned this earlier, the fact that they got George Pickens and that helped them on the other side. While CD was on one side, George was on the other, and they just kept racking it up for Dak. Not to mention Jake Ferguson. All these offensive weapons they have, and they did really well um, this year together, helped Dak out. So, yeah, a huge fan of the team. Also, their defense was terrible. That helped the offense.
Yeah.
everything worked together for Dak this year too. So yeah, awesome, awesome quarterback, I'd say.
I hope it goes into the next season the same because there could be some offensive changes. We have no idea if
Mm,
George Pickens is going to stick around.
true.
Uh, but generally, he's a good QB. He's actually a real veteran now. He's been around for 10 years. So
Yeah.
he's just probably going to keep doing what he does for the next few seasons. But here's the important thing, Jake. I mentioned change, right? I mentioned possible changes in the offense. We could talk about that with this guy who brought some change into this season.
Yeah.
Your guy, Javonte
Javonte.
Williams. I
Woo.
believe in a lot of leagues. He was drafted probably of the guys that were considered starting running backs. He was one
Yeah.
of the last, if not maybe the last running back drafted of like
Yeah.
pure starters.
hmm Yeah. No, it was kind of crazy, bro. But I mean, it made sense, right? During that time, during drafts, at the beginning of the season, because he was coming off of a terrible couple seasons at in Denver. All right, absolutely terrible. And coming in this offense, no one thought he could, be that guy.
Yeah.
But he proved otherwise. And let's just list off some of his stats.
Okay, go
Um,
for it, man.
he had 1,200 yards and a career high 11 touchdowns. All right,
Ooh.
this season, really crazy. On top of 35 receptions and 151 targets. Right, gaining,
151 targets?
dude. Yeah, isn't that actually kind of crazy?
That is kind of
Gaining
crazy.
137 yards and two more scores on top of that. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, I don't know. It's it's kind of crazy to realize, but
No,
he's
he
just
was
another one of the weapons on this team that Dak also used, and he didn't even really look like much of a pass catching back, but
no,
they
he
just
they
they
just sort of
used
did it
him.
out of necessity.
Yeah, exactly. So, um, long story short, I think this guy is going to get signed.
Hmm.
Personally, again, I don't know why they wouldn't um sign him. I think that he has a lot more to give. Hopefully, he didn't really get injured this season, and that's big for Javonte.
I
Um,
think it would be
so
best for both parties if he did come back. I mean, here's the one thing. He's done so well that his value is going to be much higher. And I
mm,
still feel like the Dallas Cowboys, they're still burned by the Ezekiel Elliott deal. Like, I feel like Jerry Jones is still hesitant about giving a running back so much money, which is the same reason he let Rico Dowdle go for pennies. There's
yeah,
every possibility that even though I think it's the best move for both teams, it's definitely the best move for Javonte. I don't think he's going to have as good of a season going to another place that has not as good of an offense, not as good of an offensive line. But we'll just have to see if Dallas is actually willing to pay that price because there are quite a number of
yeah,
free agent running backs coming into this offseason. So even if you're looking to pay a running back at a higher
that's
price,
true.
what if someone else comes along? What if a Travis Etienne is standing there and you
Mm,
have to decide between those two for your offense?
right. Yeah, I guess. I feel like they know that Javante works in their system,
Yeah.
and he works really well as that touchdown guy, that goal line guy, that three down back, really. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, but I could definitely see him on the team again.
Yeah, we'll just have to see.
Yeah.
Go on to another running back here. And Jake, one last time, one last time this season, let me talk about Chase Brown
All right.
for the
Go for
final
it.
time before we move on to 2026 and what he could
Yep.
possibly be going into the future. Because I have no
Oh yeah.
idea. I'm going to be honest.
Shoot.
After this season, I have no idea what they're going to do this season, if they're going to keep him the same or if they're going to bring in somebody new. But what I can tell you is this
Mm-hmm.
season was as much of a roller coaster for any player that I can remember in fantasy, just in general.
Hmm.
The way he started this season at the lowest of lows, couldn't get more than 2 yards a carry. He had statistics that were historically bad. And some of that you can blame on the Joe Burrow injury. Some of that you could kind of put on the offensive line. Some of it you could just put squarely on his shoulders.
Hmm.
But over time, it was literally week by week, just an incremental little uptick
Yeah.
in value. Sometimes it was a little bit more yards per run. Sometimes it was the catches out of the backfield. But he became more and more reliable as the season went on. And it culminated in this perfect setup in the playoffs where he was so dominant. I know in
Mhm.
our awards, he didn't win like best playoff performances of the year, but for me, he was that because he freaking won me leagues, man.
He
And
did.
I will never
Yeah.
forget that. I will never forget the journey I went on with this player when I ranked him sixth before the season started. He was my sixth best running back of the season, and he somehow still managed to make top 10. I think he's like number 8.
Dude,
Somehow he managed to get number 8.
it's crazy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't even what else can I
Dude.
say at this point? Do you have any thoughts on him?
Yeah, well, honestly, I can't speak from experience because I haven't had him on my team, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't really have that passion that you had for him, but I mean, I did see throughout the season, what
Hmm.
he started at, which was not that great. The first few games, he did not look good, but the whole team didn't look good. And then, once Joe Flacco came in, they started getting into emotion, and you know, um, other players and Chase Brown started to become themselves again
Yeah.
and really started to explode. And I think that, yeah, I think that this season Chase Brown did a really good job, and I was kind of scared to play against him, later in the season with my team. But
Yeah, you should
yeah, I
be.
think he definitely secured his job moving forward 2026, and I think we should see a lot of him moving forward. So
I hope. We'll see. There's still nagging part of me that thinks, oh, maybe he works best with like two backs and they might bring a second guy in. But at the same time, that defense is so horrid
yeah.
that I could totally see them skipping on running back, just being like, we need to focus on this
Oh yeah,
defense.
100%.
Because I think that's kind of what they did the year previous.
And it's like they have backup running backs. They just didn't use them really. Like
P. Ryan got some work.
P. Ryan got some work, but I don't know. Like they drafted a rookie who was supposed to be pretty good. He did nothing, and it's
Yeah,
like what they think P. Ryan's gonna. I mean, P. Ryan's always been around, but he's never really done much. So I don't know. I can't really see
it's
them drafting someone that would even compete
I think
with
I
Chase
think
Brown.
anytime it's a day 3 pick, they're volatile. You never know if they're going to actually
Yeah,
make an impact or not.
that's true. Yeah.
For me it's always like 50-50 in the air with those types of guys.
Mhm.
But I'm going to give you all the credit in the world, Jake, because this was one of your in the same way Chase Brown at the start of the season was a ride or die for me. This was your ride or die, and I was skeptical, but you proved me wrong. We got James Cook here, baby. I am so shocked at the usage of James Cook this season because I thought I had it figured out. I thought I knew from a previous seasons how they
Mhm.
use him, how they like to work him. I guess all they needed was just to pay him money, and then it was just like, well, he's our number one running back now.
Literally. Yeah.
Because this
No.
offense, that even though it's Josh Allen's the captain, it really runs with him and James Cook as a tandem. The
Yeah.
Bills' offense works best when they're both working well at the same time.
Mhm. Yeah. And dude, I don't know. Yeah, I just think everyone last year was like, going into the start of the season, they were like, "Oh, he had so many touchdowns last year. It was just a fluke. It was just a fluke. He's not going to do it again." And honestly, he's probably not going to be as good as he was last year overall because they ran him so much, and their wide receiving game wasn't as good as it was this year. That's what people were saying at the start of the season. Okay, season comes around, this dude literally does exactly what he did last year. All right,
Oh,
it's
he did
just
way more.
more, yeah, for sure. And did he get as many touchdowns though?
I don't know if I have to think about it. I don't know if he got as many
Should have
touchdowns,
looked
but
into that.
he got way more carries. He was
Yes.
it.
It,
What concerned me was going into last season, there started to
mhm.
be almost like a 3 running back group where they started using him, but then they would rest him a lot, and he was only getting like 40% of all the touches. That completely flipped. I barely heard anything of like Ray Davis this season or Ty Johnson.
Exactly. Yeah.
It once they paid him the money, they're like, oh, now we have an incentive to actually fully use him now that we know he's going to be here.
Right.
And then they just hit the ground running, and he never stopped.
Yeah. The money was all I needed, and it's like looking at it, they're not going to say that that was a bad decision, you
Yeah,
know. Looking at everything he did, top 5 running back on the season, almost every game was automatic. I feel like almost 20 points a game every game, if not more. Um, it was great.
yeah. And if you're going to
Yeah.
look into next season, you should expect around similar production because now that he's got the contract, now that he's stuck there long term,
Yeah.
this is what he's going to be this part of the offense for probably
Oh
at
yeah.
least the next few years.
He's going to
He
be the
reminds me
one
a
of the
lot of
top
he
running
reminds
backs
me a lot of his
drafted.
brother Dalvin Cook.
Dude. Yeah, he
Yeah,
does.
it feels like he's now hit those heights.
Definitely. Definitely. And especially if they keep struggling on the pass game, right?
Yeah,
James Cook's going to get a lot more opportunities. And I think they're going to, like, they need better wide receivers on this team.
they
And
do.
until they get them, and even if they get them, bro, James Cook's so electric as a pass catcher. I don't know. He's going to be so good next year.
Dude, if
Yeah.
we're bringing up electricity, we got to bring up lightning in a bottle. One of the best seasons I've seen from a Seattle Seahawk in my lifetime.
Let's do it.
Jaxon Smith-Njigba,
Yep.
the current reigning fantasy MVP of our
Oh yeah.
awards.
Come on.
He had a near historic season. Steve Largent, get out of here. DK Metcalf, that one season, he had like 1,400 yards and 14 touchdowns. See ya, buddy.
Mm.
This guy's come out and
Excuse me.
he's my guy
Yeah.
because I had so many doubts about it going into the offseason. Not that he'd be a bad player, but I didn't know if he was going to like reach top 10. I didn't know if there was going to be a ceiling now that he was the one, now that everybody
Mm.
was looking to cover him. But now, with all of it said and done, he is the league's better than DK. And I kind of knew that going
Yeah.
into the season, but I didn't
Mhm.
know to what extent. He was so dominant. He is so crazy.
Bro.
The teams had to
It,
have to triple cover him just to make sure
literally,
he doesn't go off.
no one can guard him. That's
No.
the thing. He's such an elite route runner, right? And that's what made him stand out in college. And I feel like people kind of forgot that, right? Up until he started to really showcase it this season as the number one guy. Like, there is really no one in the league that can cover this guy. And it's been shown because um yeah, his season was just electric, like we were saying. And every game, it's like, oh, boom, another touchdown by Jaxon Smith,
Another
another
10
like 40
catches for
yard
100
catch.
yards.
Yeah, exactly. It's insane. He does it all too. He
Yeah.
does every type of play. He could be the slot guy. He could be the long ball guy. Yeah, it's
You
It
know,
definitely hurt Cooper Kupp's career because
I mean,
Seahawks didn't use him very much.
I don't think it. I don't. Mm, he's done so much. I think Cooper Cup has done so much for Jackson Smith in
Oh,
helping elevate
yes.
him. I think that's
Yeah.
been great. Maybe just as a player, he's kind of what I thought he could have been, which is just we saw his best years already, and now he's just kind of a shell of himself.
Yeah, well, he keeps coming onto these teams with great young players, and then once he gives them all that he knows, they kind of
They suck the life
become the
out of him, and
new
then
yeah, they become the new Cooper Cup. So it's like, why would they need Cooper Cup?
they do what
You know?
Kylo Ren did to Han Solo, where he just stabs him with the lightsaber and he just goes off the ship. He just falls over. Ladies and gentlemen, for anybody that's listening to this, how an offense usually works is a quarterback will snap the ball and if he's looking to pass, he'll
Mhm.
have a first read. If the first read is covered, he'll have a second read and a third read, which are usually different players. I'm pretty sure Jackson Smith is the first, second, third, and fourth read of every play.
Oh yeah,
It's like every
100%.
time he's like, okay, he's covered. I'll reposition. I'll look for my new guy, Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Yeah.
He's covered. I'll look for my new guy, Jackson Smith-Njigba. Triple covered. Gonna toss it anyways.
It is it's wild because he's not even that tall. It has to be route running, right? Because he's cooking all
Yeah,
these guys, bro. He's not like a Nico Collins, like 6'5", 6'4", I think Nico Collins is, where he catches it over guys. No, dude, he's just an elite route runner who's, you know, who was basically the Justin Jefferson of this year. Like
think of
catch
Antonio
catch
Brown.
everything. Yeah,
Antonio Brown was never the biggest guy. He was never the fastest guy, but he was just better. He was just better
right.
than everybody.
Yeah,
He ran the best routes. He always found ways to get open. Whether
that's
he
it.
was just him
That's it.
alone or he had another guy next to him, he always was that good.
That's the most elite trait I feel like you could have right there.
So who knows? I
But
still
yeah,
want another guy next to Jackson Smith. That way we're not totally screwed as an offense if he does get covered
yeah,
pretty well. But I don't know, pretty good,
I
pretty
agree.
decent season if you ask me.
Oh yeah, and Torrey Horton's gonna be that guy, bro. By the
Oh,
way.
dude, he looked so good. It's a shame he got injured and we haven't seen him
Yeah,
since.
yeah, that does kind of suck, but he'll get a Super Bowl ring, so
Come on,
all that
Super Bowl
matters.
run. Come on,
Oh
make it
yeah,
for the Super Bowl, Tori.
let's go.
All right, let's get into another receiver. This one I didn't expect from you when you threw this out initially. So I'd like to hear because I find this player
Yeah,
very interesting. Wan'Dale Robinson. I don't really know. I haven't had him on any of my teams, so I don't know what to think of him.
yeah. Well, so he was kind of my dude this year, right?
Yeah.
Because well, he was very consistent throughout the year, right? It came right after Malik Neighbors got injured. Okay.
Mm.
He started really becoming the number one on the team, I think. He had to fill that role. And, um, between Russell Wilson and Jackson Dart came in throughout the season, Wan'Dale just kind of became a consistent threat and was pretty quick and elusive. He didn't have like stellar games every week, but consistent enough to be like, okay, I'm keeping Wandell in my flex, if not wide receiver two, if I need to every week because he uh just gets a lot of targets and a decent amount of yards. So I don't know. I was pretty into Wandell this year,
Yeah.
as opposed to other years. I think too. Like I've always thought Wandell was a great player. Um, when I've seen him, but he's just never really had like an opportunity to be the one on the team, and this was kind of that year, with Malik Neighbors out, and yeah, I just think he did really good. I don't know. What are your thoughts on him?
Well, I've had time to think in these last minute and a half in the last 90
Yeah.
seconds. Going into the season, there was a bit of like a negative stigma on him that
Right.
he was, I called him anti-yak, which he
Yeah.
had done way more than that this season. He blew that out of the water. He made a lot of big long plays, big catches this season.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. When Malik Neighbors came in, there was a bit more stability. I think because Jackson Dart was under pressure a lot and he needed to find receivers he could trust.
Mm-hmm.
Darius Slayton was in and out of the lineup too, week to week. So Wan'Dale ended up becoming that guy by necessity. I think what
Yeah.
interests me more is going into the offseason. Of all like the top 30, top 40 receivers, he is the biggest question mark out of all of them because I have no idea what he's going to be going into next season. Because this is the last year of his contract.
Mm.
Two options are presented to him. Either he stays with the Giants, where Malik Neighbors is going to come back, and we'll see what his value is as the number two,
Yeah.
or he tests himself out in free agency, which I think he's probably going to go down that path, mostly because of the money you're going to get. I think there are other teams that overpay receivers every year. So I think there's more money to be had on a different team.
Mm-hmm.
And the Giants, if they want to pay Malik Neighbors down the line, which is a couple seasons from now, they already technically have Darius Slayton on a 3-year, $36 million deal. So you have to think, are they really going to pay three receivers big money? Especially if their
Right.
offense is generally not considered to be a great offense. I think
Right.
his value is going to be very determined on what happens in the next 3 months.
Yeah, I agree. Going into 2026, and I mean, I had him on this list, not even really thinking about 2026.
Yeah, I know. This
But
is
that
just
is a big.
something I
It
find
is a big
interesting.
question. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Um, I honestly think, yeah, he probably won't be what he was this year. But he had a stellar year, and you know, I think being a waiver wire pick, especially too, because most people didn't have Wandale on their team
Yeah,
off the
that was
bat.
big.
No one probably drafted Wandale. In my mind, yeah, that's huge. He was like such a good waiver wire grab from the beginning, and just stayed consistent throughout the year. Like that's what you want in fantasy out of
Dude,
uh out of waiver wire grabs, So
I'm all about the waiver wire grabs. I've been on it all season. This guy is personally my favorite waiver wire grab. A lot of others too, because he was
yeah,
our waiver wire pickup of the year,
dude,
Michael
let's go.
Wilson. Why he's one of my favorites? It's a little bit of a late inclusion. He definitely had a buzzer beater on him, but man, oh my
Dude,
gosh, he was watching him perform was something else. It was
yeah,
the ultimate opportunity. Jacoby Brissett came in and he's throwing the ball a lot, and a lot of people thought it's going to be huge for Marvin Harrison, right? Coming in, he's finally going to show off some of that potential, that flashy plays
yeah,
that we've been waiting all this time, and then he
hmm
gets injured and he can't get back on the field. And Michael Wilson comes in and is like, "Hold my beer." Third year, Michael Wilson comes in and he looks like a star.
dude,
When he's given the opportunities, when he's given the insane amount of targets, he makes it happen. It wasn't just, oh, it's a decent player that got a lot of opportunities. This shown me he's a really good player.
he is. He's a
That
great player.
he's a great player that just needed opportunities. He's still going to be
Yeah,
on the team next season, so it's going to be really interesting to see how they work him in with Marvin Harrison still on the team, with Trey McBride as well
right.
being as good as he is. But for this
hmm
season and for the season alone, he carried me on a lot of weeks. He won me important games to get me first round buys, which definitely helped me win fantasy championships. So that's why he's my one of my personal favorites this season.
Oh yeah, yeah. And he, like you said, he did win waiver wire grab of the year or whatever that
Yeah.
award was. So yeah, compared to Wandale, honestly, Michael Wilson is greater. Let's be honest, and his value probably moving forward. I don't know. It is interesting because of Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison and the whole quarterback situation in 2026. We'll see what happens there
New
for
coach.
Michael, but new coach, yeah. But yeah, this season, man, whew, I think he had to have been the most talked about, you know, late round wide receiver, not late round, late season like
Yeah.
wide receiver that there was because it I think in large part due to because of Jacoby Brissett and the nature of Jacoby Brissett, how
Yeah.
he just passes, you know, a million passes a game, and he just zeroed in on Michael Wilson. What's crazy is that he had so many great games, you know, from like week 11 on to week 18.
Yeah.
Um, but so like most of his targets were cut in half on the ones that he actually caught. So his receptions were, he'd get like ten targets a game and he'd get 5 receptions and still get 17 points,
Yeah. I
because he
think
got
I
a
think that was
touchdown
more
or
of a
whatever.
system
And
of them being down in a lot of games, having to
yeah.
catch up. Because he did get things that worked in his favor. They had a really bad defense down the stretch, so it resulted in a lot of meaningless points or garbage time. It resulted in a team that was so pass heavy because they had no run game. They were playing Michael
Mm.
Carter, they were playing Bam Knight. So there were a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
just
things that just perfectly went to his favor.
right. I think too, like if he caught all of his targets, right? If he caught 100% of his targets, dude, his points would have been insane. And
Yeah.
I can't remember every game, why he only caught like 50% of his targets most of the time, if it was on Jacoby or if it was on Michael Wilson or the defense just doing well, that was covering him. But, fact of the matter is that he showed what he could do, and he did really well. Obviously, Jacoby liked him enough to keep going to him, right?
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, Michael Wilson was just stud of the century, bro. What a stud, bro, this year. It was it was really fun to watch, for sure.
All right. And we only got a couple players left. Let's move on. Your last player here, and this was not a shock to me. Tyler Warren makes all of the sense in the world. You were very high on Tyler Warren going into this. I know you drafted him in multiple leagues. Uh, Take me into
Mhm.
depth of your love for Tyler Warren.
Yeah, I will. You know, I love a good draft steal. Okay,
Mm.
I'll be honest. And Tyler Warren was that for me, honestly. Like I drafted him in most drafts, as like a really late tight end. Like I did all my drafts drafting tight ends like the latest you could get. No, not the latest you get, but like kind of
You wait a lot of time for tight ends.
yeah. Like I'll put it this way. All right, Jake Ferguson wasn't drafted super high this year in drafts.
No.
Tyler Warren was below Jake Ferguson. So, um, you know, that kind of
It's
puts it in perspective. I don't know. I drafted him a lot later. Anyways, um, he ends up just being basically like the number one target on the team, you know, competing with Michael Pittman pretty much.
yeah.
Um, and I don't think anyone expected that. He kind of just fit into the offense really well. And especially when Daniel Jones was playing, they just connected. He had a lot of touchdowns on the season. And yeah, I just think he was a draft steal. And that's why he's on this list for me, man.
No, I get it, dude. Everybody really, there are a lot of people that really love Tyler Warren this season. I think he's just a good, fun player to watch at the time when their offense was as fun as possible.
Yeah.
I think it was unexpected, not him as a player, but how well the offense ran that played a part in it. And obviously, there was a little bit of a fall off, not completely, but he was held back a little bit once Daniel Jones got hurt and the offense started to
Mhm.
struggle. Didn't stop him from winning Rookie of the Year in our versions,
Oh
in
yeah.
our little fantasy awards. I still voted for Jackson Dart. But anyways, I think he's a very good player. I think his value for next season is going to be so fascinating because there's so many tight ends that I think are going to be at around his level
Yeah,
that it's going to fall
that's
into
true.
personal preference at this point. In fact, Jake, do you want to hear a bold prediction? I
Um,
think that
yeah.
my player, my last favorite player, has a chance to be better than Tyler Warren next season. I think he will be in 2026.
Dang.
Coleston Loveland.
Hmm.
These two have been back and forth throughout the draft process going into it. And then obviously
Right.
Tyler Warren had a much better season. But
Top two tight end picks. Yeah, in the
how
draft.
this fell for me, because I only figured this out when I was making this list, that I had one league where tight end wasn't working great for me. I think I had George Kittle, but he was injured for a bit, and then I traded him in a league, and I looked around at different options. I ultimately found Colston Loveland. It was after that big game he had against Cincinnati where he got that last second touchdown and the place went crazy.
Hmm.
I invested in him at that point on. I thought it would just be a 1 week thing. What I found out is even though he wasn't scoring a lot of points, he was consistent. Over the
Yeah.
weeks, he was getting more and more involved in the offense, similar to what we've seen from Luther Burden late in the
Hmm.
season. Just the younger guys getting a little bit more involved week to week to week. And then near the end of the season, he looked great. He
Yeah,
looked like he has a legitimate shot to be their number one target
dude.
going into next season.
Yeah, and it's like they're leaning on him in clutch plays now. Like, for example, um, this last playoff game, which the Bears won, was one of the best games for Colston Loveland in his professional career.
He had like
He had,
140 receiving yards.
dude, it was crazy. He had 13 targets and caught 10 of them. I mean, that's really good. And just a lot of clutch plays. I remember seeing, them going to him. So they know, like, I know Caleb sees him as a receiving threat, and they're going to
Yeah.
continue to grow, like you said, you know, in their confidence in him and in their connection together. And yeah, next season, I agree with you. I think he could definitely be better than Tyler Warren. Especially because of the QB that the Bears have. I think
Yeah.
um,
His ability
he's a
to
bit
want to
better.
just sling the ball a bunch.
Yeah, exactly. And who knows? I'm sure Daniel Jones is going to be probably pretty good next year too. I hope, but never know with that guy.
I think it's
So
once Ben Johnson came in. I always had that thought of when they drafted Colston Loveland. It's like, oh, he
right,
could be like their Sam Laporta.
yeah,
That could
yeah,
be. And after this, the way this season shaped out, if you took his second half of the season and if you extended that across the whole season, he pretty much would have had stats very almost
mm,
identical with Sam Laporta's rookie
dang,
season.
it's crazy.
Like that, he would have had that. So I
Yeah,
do think going into next season, he's going to be a tight end that maybe not at the start of the offseason, there's going to be a
mhm.
huge amount of hype. But I think as the months get closer and closer, there's going to be a bit of a surge going up with
Yeah.
Colston Loveland.
Oh, yeah. Especially if they do well in the playoffs, man. Like Tyler
There's a,
Warren doesn't have a chance to show what he does. Colston Loveland does in the
yeah,
playoffs. So
you're not going to get the chance to draft Trey McBride or maybe even George Kittle in 2026, but there are about five, six, seven tight ends that you
yeah,
could possibly get that are all that have
dude.
potential to be right up near the
And
top there.
it's like double up on top tight ends. That could be a strategy moving forward to
Yeah.
have one in your flex, one in your tight end position. I think it really goes to show moving forward, Kyle, like in the NFL, in fantasy drafts, looking at Colston and Tyler, like tight ends are really making a push, right? To
Yeah.
be, on
Legitimate
the level
options.
of wide receivers. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And you shouldn't rule out too, like top rookie tight ends that come into the season, because every single year, bro, like these guys are rookies. Sam Laporta had an amazing rookie season. There's more. Oh, Trey McBride broke out his
Second
sophomore
year,
year,
second
but
year.
it's becoming a trend though, rookie
Yeah.
tight ends making an impact. Um, so yeah, just like watch and see how a rookie tight end, going into next year might fit in the team, and if they could use him, I'd say, dude, maybe try to get him.
Yeah.
See.
Before we end this off, I'll just leave you with this, Jake. There was one draft I had where I was drafting tight ends very late, and I ended up getting two of them just because I'm like, okay, I'll make sure at least one of them is great by drafting two. I
Oh,
could have gotten Tucker Kraft. I could have gotten Tyler Warren. I got David Njoku and TJ Hawkinson.
dang. Well,
And that was the
that's
only
all right.
league that didn't go well for me, but that's okay.
It's not a dynasty league, right?
It wasn't a dynasty. Oh,
Oh, good. There you
good,
go.
good. That would have
There you
scared me
go.
if it were dynasty.
Yeah, for real.
But that's going to be the end of our list. Thank you so much for watching. You can follow us on any of these social platforms down below, social media.
Hmm.
Anything you want to say, Jake, before we go off the air?
Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it. Another episode. And yeah, look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. You
Yeah.
know?
Leave a comment if you had any personal favorite players during the fantasy football season. Anybody that
Yeah,
you liked. Maybe guys you really like going into 2026. Let us know.
right.
But in a
Cool.
complex fantasy world, just remember to stay simple. God bless everyone.
God bless.